Morning guys, how are we doing? Mr. Mitchell here on this gorgeous sunny Wednesday. The weather's certainly taken a turn for the better, hasn't it? Hope you're all managing to enjoy it. So, Wednesday. Well, for us, Wednesday is the middle of the week, isn't it? If we've got 5 days in the week, not including the weekend, Wednesday's the one in the middle. Okay, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So it's in the middle of the week. But did you know that in some countries, actually, it's the 5th day of the week? And do you know what those countries are called? Those countries are called wrong. Wednesday is clearly the middle day of the week, isn't it? Anyway, so what can we say about Wednesday? Well, its name comes from Woden, the most important god in the German pantheon, and one closely associated with Odin, the Norse god, who in turn was associated with, you guessed it, war, violence and death. It makes me think that these old gods should have spent more time with their families, watching Ben and Holly or Peppa Pig. They might have been a bit more rounded as gods, and their worlds might have been a bit more caring and kind, thankfully like our world is today. Seriously, Woden should have come and eaten lunch in the Baycroft canteen like I get to do every day, and chatted with Olivia or Maria, or been called Monkey by Cameron, or played guessing games with Archie, or laughed as Hayden sits and spins his lunch bag round very, very quickly. They may have seen a different side of life that they were clearly missing out on. Because, do you know what? Not only have I never left lunchtime chatting with Baycroft students in a bad mood, but I've never felt the need to pick up a spear ever and go and strike someone down. It's never happened, not once, never. Once, okay, it was once, but it was a mistake. But, come on guys, chill out a bit. Stop focusing on the bad. The world is packed with loveliness. Yes, there can be sad and bad things that happen. And sometimes we all get angry, don't we? And that's natural, but don't get stuck angry. Look at me from Monday compared to now. Grumpy versus... Let me tell you about something. We used to have a student at our school who was a little bit of a pickle. Let's say his name was Tommy, because it was. Well, by the time Tommy got to year 11, there have been loads of times that Woden would have struck him down because Tommy being a pickle. And it would have been really dumb, because in year 11, Tommy won football. And the first thing he did was go and give it to a year 7 who he knew had been bullied. Or what about the student who went and ran alongside another at our school sports day because he saw that student was upset? What about the student who always comes with me on playground duty and tells staff off just to make them laugh? Or the ones who call me Mr. Mouldy Baguette? Okay, no, not those ones, but, I'll leave them ones to Woden. But it seems silly to me that we've named 2 of our 3 days of the week so far after angry things, when the world has so much more good than bad. So I've decided that using my godlike powers, I declare this is no longer Wednesday. It's Huggy Day. So now we have Monday, Tuesday, Huggy Day, Thursday and Friday. It's official. And midweek football matches will take place on Huggy Day. The Huggy Day match. It will change football forever. Also, the big football teams out of each city. Well, in Liverpool, you've got Liverpool and Everton, of course. Manchester, you've got Manchester United and Manchester City. From London, there's only really Spurs, isn't there, as a big club. And in Sheffield, you've now got Sheffield United and Sheffield Huggy Day. They'll love me for it. Perfect. Have a lovely Huggy Day, everyone.
Hi Baycroft, another day, another stretch. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be doing some high kicks. So what I want you to do is put your right hand out in front of you. You're going to take a step back and you're going to kick your foot as high as you can and try and touch your hand. You're going to swap hands and put your left one out and do the same thing with your right foot. So take a step back for each kick and try and get it as high as you can. What you're doing here is you're stretching out your hamstrings at the back of your leg so you don't tighten those up when you're doing any form of running or football or rugby or whatever kind of sports you play. Okay, let me just go side on. So you've got a hand out, kick up. Remember not to try and go too far, because if you do go too far you might end up falling on your back, and that's probably going to look very funny for everyone else watching, but it's not going to be funny for you. See you later, Baycroft. Have a good one.
Good morning, Baycroft. We continue to look at our Diversity Week and what can make us different. Today, as you can tell by the clue behind me, we're going to be looking at sexual identity. This community have been commonly known by the acronym LGBT+ now since the early 1990s. But what do these letters stand for? If you're not quite sure, watch this quick video by well-known YouTuber Pop and Ollie.
LGBT. But what does it mean? Is it a word? Well, try saying it and you'll soon realise it's not. LGBT. Yeah, definitely not a word. That's because it's actually an acronym, meaning that each letter stands for something. First up is the letter L, which stands for lesbian. A lesbian is a female or woman who's attracted to other females. Next up is the letter G, which stands for gay. Gay means a male or man who's attracted to other males. B stands for bi, and bi is short for bisexual. A bisexual is someone who's attracted to males and females. And finally, T. T is for transgender, which can mean someone who transitions or changes from one gender to another. You see, the gender they were born with may not match up to the gender they feel they are inside. And that is what LGBT stands for. But hang on, what about LGBTI or LGBTIQQP ABCDE? Well, there are lots of other identities which fit under the LGBT umbrella, such as intersex, pansexual, questioning, and many more. This can make the list of letters quite long, which is why the term alphabet soup is quite a fun way of describing it. But perhaps an easier way to include everyone is to use this handy little plus sign, which means plus. That way, no one gets left out. Being LGBT is not something you can choose to be. It's like the colour of your skin, or your height, or shoe size. It is simply something that some people relate to and others do not. Lesbian, gay, bi and transgender are just words, but they are words which we should use both respectfully and with care. And now you know what LGBT means. But when you think about it, it doesn't matter if someone is LGBT or XYZ. Okay, I just made that last one up. But what I'm trying to say is we are all just PEOPLE. People. People who should respect and care for each other, regardless of who we are, who we love, or who we become.
Diversity Week is championed by many well-known people and sponsored by different charities, including the Just Like Us organisation. This was founded for the simple reason growing up LGBT+ is still unacceptably tough. Their annual initiative, Schools Diversity Week, empowers teachers and pupils across the country to tackle homophobic, biphobic and transphobic bullying by organising activities that celebrate LGBT+ equality in education. Homophobia, biphobia and transphobia are facts of life for LGBT+ young people growing up, with 25% of these young people attempting suicide, 50% self-harming, and a massive 86% of these young people still hearing homophobic remarks on a regular occasion. These experiences can have a lifelong negative impact on these young people's potential and well-being. Here is another clip created by student ambassadors of this charity who speak openly about their experiences.
Hi.
How are you feeling?
Okay, interested. I am bisexual.
I am a gay man.
I am a
non-binary, trans, queer person.
I'm gay.
I identify as a cis gay man.
I came out when I was 14, but I was bullied quite a lot before then.
It felt quite isolating a lot of the time.
You're in an environment where people make assumptions.
I didn't really know why I felt like this, or like, should I be feeling like this? I felt it was wrong, very alone.
No one quite understood what you were going through.
For me, there was a lot of shame.
I wish other people had known that
Gender is tricky and the worst, and that whatever works for you is the best thing possible.
Just because other people may have trouble accepting your identity, trying to be happy doesn't make you a bad person.
That things were going to get better.
that stereotypes are just not really existent.
I think I would have liked to known about wider identities in the LGBTQ community.
I feel like there are possibilities for me still. Nothing's been closed off.
You can be more open with your relationships, you can connect with people more, you don't live in fear as often.
I feel like being gay is one of the most important parts of who I am, and it's something that I feel comfortable celebrating now.
People should be celebrated irrelevant of their differences, and this flag shown on the screen now is a celebration of LGBT+. This might look slightly different to the rainbow flag normally seen, and that is because graphic designer Daniel Kazar has added a 5-coloured chevron to the LGBT rainbow flag to place a greater emphasis on inclusion and progression. The flag includes black and brown stripes to represent LGBT communities of different race, along with the colours pink, light blue and white, which are used on the transgender pride flag. This flag represents their identity and unity as a community. Your task today is to create your own flag design to represent your own identity and community. This could be done on the computer or using pens, pencils or paints. Think creatively about how you can be represented, what colours you could use. There is also a range of symbols and shapes that you can include in different places on your flag. The possibilities are truly endless, and I look forward to seeing your creative designs.
Morning Baycroft, Mr Ryan Heaney here. Hope you're all doing well. Now today, on June 24th, we're going to be celebrating a very famous athlete's birthday. But the first thing I want to talk to you about is our theme for the week on Baycroft TV, which is diversity. Now, Miss Carpenter has been talking about what diversity means, and other staff would have said what they believe. However, my thoughts is that sport is a really good way to show how diverse our cultures are. Take a quick watch of this video.
Why do we love football?
Because out there, on that pitch, we're all the same.
Now, in that video, you would have seen some famous faces who you probably recognise. Now, was that video about hockey? No. Do you think I might be talking about rugby today? Sadly not. American football perhaps? I'm not Mr Reynolds. But today, what we will be talking about is football. Now, the player we're going to be focusing on today is Lionel Messi. A lot of people consider him the greatest player to ever play the sport. Now, although there is a lot of debate out there between the top players, Cristiano Ronaldo comes up a lot, obviously Maradona and Pele too. Lionel Messi is widely considered the best natural footballer ever to play. I'm going to talk to you about him today. I'm going to give you a couple of challenges which I think you guys can go and do at home. Let's get straight into it. Hey there! So, Lionel Messi, born in Argentina in 1984 on June the 24th. He was born in a place called Rosario, and he was selected for a team called Newell's Old Boys. They were his youth team when he was growing up. Now, Lionel Messi wasn't very tall for his age. There's another athlete that I know very well that could probably vouch for that too. A couple of pictures coming here on the side. Who do you think that is? Now, the reason Lionel Messi was so small growing up is because he suffered from a growth hormone deficiency. This meant that when every other player in his team was growing taller and getting physically stronger, he stayed the same height. However, his technical ability helped him stay at that top level. When he was 13 years old, Barcelona scouted him and brought him over to Spain because they thought he was a pretty interesting prospect. They agreed to pay for his medical bills, and from there, the rest is history. He went on to become one of the greatest players of all time. Let's find out. By the way, Lionel Messi made his first appearance for Barcelona at age 16 years old, 3 years after the club signed him. From there, he ascended into football greatness. Arguably his best year was in 2012, where he scored 91 goals in 69 games for both club and country. This broke a 40-year record which was set by Gerd Müller of Germany and Bayern Munich. Not a bad going for a kid who's only about 5'7". In his career, Messi has earned 34 trophies, including 10 La Ligas, 6 Copa del Reys, like the FA Cup, and 4 Champions League trophies. He's also won the Ballon d'Or 6 times, which is more than any other player in history. Now, Messi was one of my favourite players growing up, but it might be different for you because you will be looking at people coming up now, players such as Mbappe or Marcus Rashford, who's done a great deal this week in the community. However, other teachers might have grown up watching different football players, such as Zinedine Zidane, Pele, Maradona. What I want you guys to do is find a fact file for your favourite football player, coming up with 3 fun facts that many people might not know about them. Your final task for this video is you're going to recreate a famous goal by one of your favourite players. Now, as you all know, I'm Australian, and my favourite player, other than Harry Kewell, is Tim Cahill, a Premier League player who played for Everton and Millwall. Now, he scored a very famous goal at the World Cup in 2014 against the Netherlands, and I'm going to give it a go recreating it now. See you later, Baycroft. Have a good day. Peace.
Self-inflicted, but here comes Tim Cahill. Oh, what a response! A sensational volley! But here comes Tim Cahill. Oh, what a response! A sensational volley!
This is Dave.
Hi.
Dave owns a wooden ship called the Theseus. And that's Dave's wife. She doesn't like goodbyes. Dave and his crew... Yep, thank you. Dave and his crew are setting off on a long voyage. It's a tough voyage with many storms and mishaps. And it gets really quite hard to keep the ship sailing and to stop bits of it falling into the water. Every time the ship is damaged, Dave takes the Theseus to George's shipyard, and George replaces the broken wooden bits with shiny new metal ones.
Bye.
But there are many dangers, like Ollie the octopus, who does like a bit of fish and chips. And so, every few months of his journey, Dave heads back to see George and has any broken wooden bits replaced with metal.
Bye-bye.
Bye. And each time the ship gets damaged, more metal parts are added, and so on, until, eventually, every part of the Theseus has been replaced. The ship is now entirely metal, inside and out. When Dave gets home, his wife, who's been really missing Dave a great deal, is surprised. She wants to know why he's got a new ship.
I haven't got a new ship,
says Dave. Dave's wife insists that it can't be the same ship. Dave insists that it is. This goes back and forth for what seems like an eternity. But Dave's wife won't budge.
Your ship was wooden, and this ship is metal. Nothing of the old ship remains.
What do you think? Is it the same ship? And if it isn't, at what point did it become a different ship? Dave and his wife haven't stopped arguing about whether it's the same ship when suddenly, over the horizon, a familiar shape appears. It's the Theseus, only made of wood. How did this happen? It turns out George always wanted his own ship. So, rather cleverly, he kept all the wooden bits that fell off the original Theseus and decided to rebuild it. It needed a lot of hard work and an awful lot of nails, but it looks very good now he's finished. The minute she sees the ship, Dave's wife thinks it's Dave's ship, the Theseus. So what does this mean? They're both called the Theseus, and they both look the same. Well, except that one's made of wood and one's made of metal. It's all getting a bit confusing. Oh dear. Does this mean there are two Theseuses, or just one? Which ship is the Theseus? Now, this is all very well with ancient ships and whatnot, but what happens if we think about something a little closer to home? Like, I don't know, you. You see, like Dave's ship, our bodies change and grow throughout our lives. We're born, we grow up into toddlers, then children, and we keep growing into teenagers, then adults. And we continue changing our whole lives. Our hair grows and falls out and more grows without us even noticing. We get a whole new set of teeth. Everything changes. So, if every part of us gets replaced too, like Dave's ship, then that raises a big question. Am I the same person I was when I was born? And if I am, what makes me, me?
Yesterday's sign was chicken. Today's sign is bread. Bread.
Hi guys, welcome back. Mr. Mitchell, I hope you've enjoyed today's broadcast here on BTV on the world's first ever Huggy Day. Make sure you continue that tradition not only through the rest of the day but throughout the rest of your lives. Let's get rid of all the anger. Let's have Huggy Days from now on. Okay? Hope you have a great day today. Go out, try and enjoy some of the weather if you can. Be safe, be kind to each other, particularly to your parents and carers, and we'll see you all tomorrow.